Hey, welcome. It's Lorenzo, Mr. A, Mr. Aranda, and this is going to be an update video on the situation regarding e-teaching and the coronavirus and all that. And near the end of the video, I'm going to provide some assistance on the assignment I assigned you guys. So first things first, the update. E-learning will formally begin this Tuesday, and this first week is going to be a bit experimental. The governor ordered it must begin this Tuesday, and it's a little bit experimental because what does e-teaching exactly look like when done on a massive scale, especially with a district with diverse internet needs and technology needs as CPS. So we're going to figure that out as a district, as a school, and we will pass the knowledge on to you guys. We're going to adhere to a more regular schedule later. Like I said, this is a very experimental week. So maybe I'll only give you guys 2 videos a week, maybe 3 videos a week, maybe 1 assignment a week. I'm not exactly sure what that's going to look like, but that'll be more formalized later. This virus means we could also e-teach the rest of the school year. We're not going to see each other in April likely. They said April 21st, but if Donald Trump says April 31st for social distancing, then that likely means that we're going to be out for the rest of April, and who knows how that could extend as well. YouTube will likely be the primary medium where I teach because I don't think Zoom is the best way, nor I don't think you guys seeing my face and having me talking at you is the best way to teach. It's also like if you have questions or comments regarding something I say, then you could just put them in the comments below, okay? Or email me. And again, we'll find out what e-teaching looks like formally later this week, or that's the plan. We're going to move on to the task at hand now. I'm not going to spend too much time on this assignment. Things you should know. I'm extending the deadline. It should be shown in the assignment tab when I'm extending it to, likely Friday. And so the task is you were supposed to write a letter to your representative or senator. It is, should the United States start to censor or restrict hate sites in your opinion? Hate sites being things like racist websites or things that encourage hate speech. This is a letter to a senator or representative, so you may use I in your letter, so you can talk at first person. Your senators are Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth. Every state has 2. These are R2. A couple of things you should do in your letter. You should include matters in the First Amendment rights in your letter. So, does the First Amendment allow you guys or allow people to have hate speech freely in this country? I'm going to go more in depth about your First Amendment rights in a video later this week. You're going to be graded according to this rule of 12.1a, so that will be touched on a little bit later. Now, if you understood the reading, you understood the rubric, you understood everything and know what you need to do, then you don't need to watch the rest of the video. If you had trouble accessing the documents, you couldn't see them for some reason, or you just want to hear them verbally, you need me to read them to you, then that is perfectly acceptable. I am going to be reading both pages and the questions about what you have to do. If, let's say, you don't have the means to type out your letter, then that is fine. What you can do instead is you can write it on a piece of paper and then take a picture of it and then send it to me, okay? You can put it in the Google Classroom assignment. So you don't need to have to be able to type. You can instead write a letter and take a picture of it. With that being said, I will now begin reading. Those of us who are leaving, have a nice day. Watch out for a video later this week. For now, I will begin this assignment on page 1 or page 21. In January 1985, years before the internet became a household word, before home computers became as common as TVs or blenders, the Anti-Defamation League released a prophetic report titled Computerized Networks of Hate. That same month, former Ku Klux Klan leader Don Black was released from federal prison where he was serving time for hatching a violent white supremacist plot. While serving just over 2 years, Black had learned to use computers. A decade later, in 1995, the first extremist hate site on the World Wide Web debuted. Its name was Stormfront, and Don Black was its creator. There is the potential here to reach millions. Black said of the internet, I think it's a major breakthrough. I don't know if it's the ultimate solution to developing a white rights movement in this country, but it's certainly a significant advance. Hate on the internet has indeed turned out to be quite significant. The vast array of bigoted propaganda presented there, from subtle to heavy-handed, can influence anything from one's attitude towards coworkers to one's desire to join an organized hate group or commit a violent hate crime. Hateful words and images on the internet can lead to hateful actions, discrimination, and violence. Hate speech on the internet helps create an atmosphere that can spawn violent hate crimes. Beyond sharing hate crimes, some bigots have used the internet to directly threaten their enemies with violence. In Philadelphia, a neo-Nazi group named Alpha, led by former KKK member and neo-Nazi skinhead Ryan Wilson, posted threats at its website against two government officials. The site posted an image of a government office going up in flames and stated, traitors like this should beware, for in our day, they will be hung from the neck from the nearest tree or lamppost. For many internet users in the United States, going online now costs nothing at all, and most internet service providers willingly host their customers' web page. Easy-to-use web development tools are readily available, making it simple even for novices to create their own web page. These advances benefit all of us, but extremists too use all the communication devices the internet offers. For bigots and others, the web, with its capacity to display pictures, sounds, and colors, is the most dynamic and popular portion of the internet. Unlike in news groups and chat rooms, critics can't mediate haters' messages on the web. Furthermore, because many users lack the experience and knowledge to tell the disreputable from the reputable on the web, haters can portray themselves as legitimate sources of authority there. A number of sites promote white supremacy in general or espouse some amalgam of hateful philosophies. The Site for White Aryan Resistance, a group led by San Diego-based white supremacist Tom Metzger, featured crude caricatures of black and Mexicans while applauding racial and cultural separatism worldwide. Calling whites nature's finest handiwork, Metzger declares your race and only your race must be your religion. In light of so much online bigotry, what can people of good conscience do? Many nations, including Germany, France, Canada, and Denmark, have laws against hate speech. On some occasions, these laws have already been applied to internet hate propaganda. For instance, Bo Warming, a Danish bigot, was recently fined for making hateful comments against gays and Muslims on a Danish internet news group. Additionally, there are some international conventions against hate speech that may be applicable to the internet. Human rights activists have often pointed to Article 4 of the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, which the United States signed and ratified. Yet, in the United States, the relevant law is the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which guarantees protection of freedom of speech, expression, and association. The First Amendment, of course, protects unpopular speech, including hate speech. The legal cases involving threats using the internet all rest on specific laws that are not widely applicable to hate speech on the internet. The case against Ryan Wilson and the conviction of members of the militia groups Republic of Texas for sending targeted email threats to specific individuals involve regulations protecting state or federal government employees. Many legal theorists have argued that virtually no online hate speech can be successfully prosecuted in the U.S. court of law. They have pointed to the extremely slim possibility that hate speech, both on and off the web, can pass either the two legal measures that determine when speech encouraging violence may be legally actionable. The two measures are the fighting word exception to the First Amendment, outlined in Shaplinsky v. New Hampshire, and the imminent incitement standard in Brandenburg v. Ohio. For years, hate groups have created all sorts of propaganda, written materials of every kind, books, glossy magazines, newspapers, flyers, even graffiti sprayed on homes and synagogues, churches, and tombstones, have been used to spread their messages of hatred. As communication technologies advanced, these groups tried to keep up. First, they expanded their efforts to standard broadcast band and shortwave radio, audio tape, videotape, and public access cable televisions. Now bigots of all kinds have recognized the internet's power and rushed to use it, rallying their supporters, preaching to the unconverted, and intimidating those whom they perceive as their enemies. Faced with this new way to promote hate, we all have the obligation to speak out. So, this article basically just summarized hate speech and how certain groups are trying to use the internet as a way to promote hate or hurt others. Now, here are questions here. There are 3 questions that are not the essay questions. Question 1, describe some of the hate groups currently using the internet to spread their messages. Question 2, why is the internet more useful to hate groups than newspapers, radios, and televisions? And 3, name the 2 Supreme Court cases that contain the fighting words exceptions and the imminent incitement standard used to determine whether speech encouraging violence is legally actionable. And question 4, this is the essay question, or rather the letter question. Many nations such as Denmark, Germany, and France have passed hate speech laws that can be applied to internet sites. Do you think the United States should follow this example and pass laws that censor or restrict hate sites on the internet? Write a letter to your congressperson or senator stating your views about this issue. Include a statement concerning First Amendment rights in your letter. In your opinion, does the Constitution protect hateful speech or racist websites? Consider mailing your letter to your state representative or senator. So that was me reading the article. Thank you for sticking around if you did. Otherwise, have a fantastic day, guys. Expect a video with an update later, and ones with a little bit more formal instruction later. Have a nice day.